It's time for the show that engages with people of the combat sports world. And now, presenting the reigning, defending, undisputed combat sports show champion of the world, Flash Knockdown.
Thank you, Bruce Buffer, for that wonderful introduction. I'm feeling pumped right now. And thank you to you all for joining me on episode 9 of Flash Knockdown with my guest, JJ Danger Mouse Jones. Sawadee Krab, JJ.
Sawadee Krab, Sawadee my Krab.
Nice. How's my Thai sounding?
That was good. It was good. So Sawadee Krab, hello, and then if I say Sawadee my Krab, you say Sawadee, which means you're good. You just say Sawadee.
Lovely. So, how would you say your Thai has got on? Have you picked up a lot of the lingo?
Yeah, I've been actually studying it pretty much every day, about 2 to 1 hours, maybe 11 months now. So I can hold conversation, order food, speak to people. It's stuck. It's I can speak it nearly. I'd say quite a lot now. I'm quite comfortable speaking it.
Lovely. And can you order a beer in Thai?
It's quite easy to order what you want. You just say ow. Ow is you want. And then you say a number, maybe say the beer's Leo here. So it'd be say you're with a friend. So you say you want 2, you'd say, you'd say, ow, song Leo. It's I want 2 of them. It's very basic Thai. It's very not descriptive. You just say what you want. So ow, pad Thai. I want pad, you just say the number.
Wow. And the weather's about 30 degrees today with quite high humidity as always.
Yeah, I'm in the aircon, thankfully, in my room, but it's always hot. We're in rain season, so once it rains, it finishes raining, every day is monsoon. It's unbearable sometimes, but in a high season, in November, December, January, it's 35, sun, no rain. It's amazing, but right now it's quite tough. The rain is really unpredictable.
Yeah, and the summer months in Thailand is when?
November, December, January, February. It was end of March. It's very, very hot, little rain. Then this is what they call rain season, where you can be all of a sudden in a sunny beach, and then all of a sudden a big black cloud comes. You got rain for 3 days nonstop, and
wow. It's
not UK rain. It's warm rain, and it's just thick, hailstones. It hurts, and you're trying to drive your bike, and you literally the roads are flooded. It's insane. It's something out of a movie.
Right. Okay. So we'll get into what brought you to Thailand and what's next for you a little later in the show. But for now, life in Thailand is treating you well?
Yeah, really loving it. Fantastic.
Okay. So a little backstory, JJ, in terms of how you became our next guest, which I've already shared with you. I was watching a recent episode of the Mike Swick podcast, who owns and runs AKA Thailand, also in Phuket. And I was just sat there wondering, who could I have on my next episode? And who do I know that's in Thailand? JJ. So off I went. I sent you a message asking you if you'd like to come on to the next show. And before I could even blink, you came back with a message saying you'd love to come on. So thank you again for agreeing to that.
Anytime, mate. Anytime. Happy to help.
Fantastic. And the AKA gym is about 10-minute drive from Phuket Top Team. Is that correct?
Yeah, all the gyms, Phuket's an island, so relatively, you can get anywhere in an hour on a bike. Everywhere's within touching distance. You said you want to go to the airport, it's only 40 minutes on your bike. The beaches are in, or you're in an island, everything's in touching distance. It's not like you have to there's no trains here, no buses, everyone just drives the mopeds, and you're there in 10 minutes.
What's the traffic like on the roads? Is it mental?
It used to be crazy. It's always crazy driving here. It's always dangerous. People do die quite regularly on the roads in Thailand. Especially here, you'll hear stories of when it's raining, it's normally you want to stay inside because some trees will people get killed by coconut trees or falling lampposts, and it's very strange here. They just cover it up and they're not bothered. They're very numb to the road accidents. They're just it's another dead person. They're not very safety conscious. And at night time, traffic lights get turned off. So when it gets like 11, it's just open season. Like you can just drive through, you look the picket and it's pitch black, and it's like the best way I can describe driving here is like Mario Kart. Like,
bumper cars.
Just don't get hit. Dodge and make sure you're driving faster than the person behind you. It's not about who's in front of you. You're getting rear-ended by a car. The cars just don't stop. If you're in the way, they just keep going forward. So just make sure you don't get rear-ended by a big lorry, because most of them are drunk half the time when driving.
Sure. And have you been to AKA in Thailand or not?
No, I've only ever been Top Team. Out of all the gyms, I've only ever trained at Top Team. I've obviously drove past AKA and I know some people there, but I've only just drove past the other gyms.
Okay, no, because I've heard and seen the facilities there look really, really impressive.
Yeah. I mean, all the gyms here have got huge facilities, which is good, because it's like back home where space is more expensive. Here, like there's a lot of space, to develop and build big facilities,
and also open air as well.
Yeah, most of the Muay Thai areas we train outside in every gym. You train in the fresh air, which is great. Which is actually more difficult because you're in the humidity. Like when you train inside, you get a big air cons and it's nice, but outside it's just relentless mosquitoes, humidity. Not easy.
No, it's not easy at all. And your gym open from lockdown as of the 1st of June, is that correct?
Yes, we're open now. So obviously a different timetable, but we're back in business, doing the morning and afternoon sessions, trying our best, fill what it is, because not many foreigners here left. So it's more just all the gyms are reduced the time, the size, but everyone's doing what they can. That makes sense to get by. This is an island that runs off a tourist business. It's like Bangkok's different. Bangkok's self-sufficient. Phuket, like things have changed here a lot, but like Top Team are doing a really good job of like keeping on top of things, trying to keep their fighters in good shape, and keeping the things going.
Good. Okay. Thanks very much for that, JJ. So before we look at your flash choices, mate, could you give the viewers an overview of your combat sports career, the gyms you represent, and how people can find you and your work online, please, JJ?
Okay, so I'll start with when I started training. I started training around, my first martial arts experience around 5 or 6. I did judo for like 4 or 5 years. I was overweight and I wasn't getting anywhere very much. Like I was overweight, I was a little bit competing, but I was too big for my size. Like I was quite fat. So then around like 10, 11, I started MMA, and following through with that, I did everything, Muay Thai, boxing, like all in the same gym and Team Elite. And it just snowballed from there. Like the weight dropped off in a year. I changed the person. Like I went to boxing, Muay Thai, all the sessions. I didn't realize that you can do MMA. I didn't really know much about MMA. I was like, you can do all of it at once. Right? This is so cool. Seeing like a John Jones video on YouTube. And I was like, I want to do that. I had my first competitive MMA fight around just after turning 13, the first proper competitive one. Many interclubs, and then like all my junior fights are just junior fights, doing jiu-jitsu. Then like things got very serious when I got turned 16. Like I had my cage warriors debut, A-class rules, and then since then I fought on cage warriors multiple times. I had a pro K1 fight. There's lots of fights. So when I was a junior, we were fighting like at least 2 times a month, doing a boxing 1 week, Muay Thai the next, just trying to do a bit of everything. And then just getting experience with it and just working on my development as like a person, I had many good fights on cage warriors. I fought for the cage warriors junior title. I fought for the ISFC title. I fought good guys in the UK. I've had some good wins. I've had some bad losses. It's been very 50-50, but that's just because I think I've always been development, and it's not been easy. I've always had like a lot of perseverance to go through. So sometimes it's been more about the getting into the fight, and having the fight is actually a big win. Because considering the circumstance I was in. So I was like, especially with being amateur, it was just about getting in there and like give me that at least 9 minutes of nothing else in the world matters. That's what the fight was about. Going on a big stage in front of my friends, and like fighting big names, that was all that really mattered to me right now. And obviously now I'm here in Thailand, and I'm chasing obviously the dream out here.
Yeah, and then just confirm for the viewers, please, JJ, the gym you represent there in Thailand, and also how people can find you online.
Okay, so I'm currently at Phuket Top Team here in Phuket. Online, you find me on Instagram, JJ Danger Mouse Jones. Facebook, just JJ Danger Mouse Jones or JJ Jones. And then I'm sure if you have a little search around YouTube, you can find me, put JJ Jones MMA, and that's basically all my social media.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that overview, JJ. Really appreciate it. So now, my man, are you ready for your flash choices?
Okay, let's give it a go.
Yeah. Okay. So for anyone not familiar and also first time viewers, JJ, I will ask you 10 questions.
Yeah.
With 2 possible answers, and you choose the one that best suits in a flash. Got it, bro?
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so first one, JJ. Flying knee or Superman punch?
Superman punch.
Gi or no gi?
No gi, especially in Thailand with the heat.
Body punch or body slam?
Body slam. If you see my fights, that's the favorite.
Standard. Brock Lesnar or Andy Brocklebank?
Andy Brocklebank.
He's been your long-time coach, right? And he's also had over 30 pro Thai boxing fights.
100%. Taught me how to throw my first punch.
You can hear him in all of your fights.
Oh, you certainly can.
Yeah,
and sometimes
he's got a loud voice.
It's getting my backside into gear and make sure I get the job done, you know. You can definitely hear him when he's in the corner.
always. Yeah. This one will test you. Henry Cejudo or Demetrius Johnson?
Cejudo.
Rowdy Ronda Rousey or Relentless Rudy Roots?
Rudy. Can't let Rudy down like that.
He's a beast, isn't he?
Rousey's got good judo, but Rudy would suplex Rousey into next week.
Yeah, he's wrestling. He's just on a different level.
You don't even see heart in the gym. The guy's an animal. He's got the grip strength of someone that's 100 kilos. Ridiculous.
Muay Thai or Muay Thai?
Muay Thai.
Okay. Mickey Mouse or Speedy Gonzalez?
Mickey Mouse. Gotta keep it with the mice.
Speedy Gonzalez is a mice as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's a famous. Has 2 famous mice.
I'm showing my age there. I'm 2001. I didn't see what I know.
Fair enough. See, I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age now. Arm bar or knee bar?
Arm bar.
Okay. And then the final one, and let's see if the cycle continues. You all know what's coming. Workout 7 a.m. or 7 p.m.?
7 p.m. for me.
Unbelievable, Jeff.
Oh, the cycle has broken.
Not for, all these people are going to wake up before your opponent. I think everybody's different. I'm very I can wake up very anxious and full of not have a good sleep or something. They can admit that. So I think I can calm myself down and I can go into a 7 p.m. session and learn more. My brain is I've got rid of all that energy from the night. And by the time 7 p.m., I'm in a good place to learn and take knowledge in. In the morning, I'm too cranky. You do a 2-hour episode, a 2-hour training session in the morning or the night. Obviously, if you're trained twice a day, but if you did one that day, it's the same. You're both on 2 hours. It doesn't matter. If people that need to say, "Oh, I trained early in the morning because it's better," my opponent, okay, whatever, great.
Sure.
As long as it's done, it's done.
True. That makes a lot of sense. Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, JJ. Interesting answers. How did you find that overall?
Yeah, it was all right. It's kind of hard to think on the spot. You named some of my favorite fighters, like Cejudo and Rousey. I looked up to Rousey a lot when I was younger because of the judo. I even had a Ronda Rousey T-shirt. When I was younger, I was 13, 12. I had one. I was a super fan. I used to try and copy her takedowns in fights. I got them sometimes, and I was a really big fan of hers. But I can't let Rudy down like that.
No, of course not. And also Henry Cejudo. You have a lot of admiration for him too.
Yeah, his fighting style. But even before he became champion, I watched him a lot, and I was wow, just because his build, he's built short. He was always fighting really good guys, his takedowns, and he just had a really cool style. I really enjoyed watching him.
Brilliant. Okay, see, so I've done my research. No.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he's definitely done his research here, you know. You got
Mate,
well prepared, not
I
winging
know
it.
I know lots about you. This show isn't recorded overnight, my man. This is days of planning and preparation.
I'm impressed, mate. I'm impressed.
Good.
Makes it even
Okay.
better.
Thank you, JJ. Thank you. So let's now flashback, my man. And if you could share with
Okay.
the viewers, please, what your first recollection of martial arts was, please.
So there was the judo club at my old primary school, like when I was in the lower years, like year 2 and 1. And I just like, it was next door to this place called the Star Base. I can't even remember the name, but it's where the kids, I was getting picked up late. So it's like some chat. I can't remember, but I couldn't go home straight away. So I'd have to stay after school and like just sit there. And then there's these guys doing this thing in this white outfit. And I was like, this looks pretty cool. So I asked if I could go. And then I went every day. I was like, oh, this is judo. And then I just fell in love with it. You know, the whole like competing against your friends from school. And then every day I was just doing judo. And not that I wanted to be anything. I enjoyed it. It was somewhere to vent lots of energy. And like, I love the competitive side of it and the belts. So I found it really, I got addicted. I really got addicted to it. That's what I can remember just getting my first judo gi thinking I'm like some samurai tying my little yellow belt. I thought, you know, I used to be so proud of it. Like, you know, it was really good times.
I bet. And who were your heroes growing up? And how did that influence help you in life generally?
I'd say athletically, like it's always changing. Like in terms of fighters, you know, I always looked up to like people like Ronda Rousey, Henry Cejudo. But it's actually a lot more close to home. I keep it, you know, not just any celebrities like my coach Andy Brocklebank, you know, seeing his Muay Thai fights like on like YouTube and stuff. Used to search more time. My coach is Kev, you know. I really like, looked up to the fight when I was in the first started going to the adult classes. All the fighters that were in my gym, you know, the Muay Thai fighters, you know, like really looked up to them. Even though they didn't have a few fights, like still really looked up to them. You know, I never like the conventional like Bruce Lee or anything like that. I never really wasn't interested. It's more close to home. The guys I've seen every day, like working harder than me. That makes sense. I'll do it like them. You know, like the adults setting the example type of thing.
Sure. And I believe this is your 12th year being involved in martial arts. What got you into it? And you said that you started off doing judo.
Yeah, so it was just more to lose weight and venting. You know, I was getting bullied a lot. You know, I just wanted a place to vent some energy, and you know, I had a lot of problems back home. It was a place it's just where I could escape and like, you know, I could clear my mind for an hour. You know, I remember reading Ronda Rousey's book and I felt very relatable to it. You know, any sport like running or swimming, like you have too much thinking time. You know, I'm an overthinker and I had a lot to think about, especially as a kid. And like anything like fighting, judo, you can't think about anything else other than that. It makes you stay present. It keeps your brain present. Like you're competing against your friend. Like you're not thinking about what's going on back home or what's going to happen. Like you just got a complete hour of escape. And afterwards you go, wow, like I've not thought about any problems for like an hour. And then you go, okay, if I do this every day, that means I get 1 hour a day of feeling good. And then when you train every day, twice a day, 3 times a day, you go, wow, I'm spending the majority of my day away from my problems. And then you know, that's where you find your escape. There's more of an escape. And the feeling, you know, the feeling you get after a session just felt amazing.
Makes sense. So it's fair to say that martial arts has had a positive impact on your life and perhaps even changed it.
100% changed it. You know, I could have gone in a really bad direction, and I owe everything to it. You know, I wouldn't be sat in Thailand today without martial arts. You know, it's never been easy. I've had a lot of ups and downs, but you know, it's always been something that my life's always had a lot of changes that I've not been able to control, but something that's never changed is the gym's always been there.
Yeah. And
So,
you've been,
you know,
no, I was going to say, and you've been competing since 2015. Is that right?
a little bit earlier, I started like the Muay Thai and Amateur MMA, like that. Like the only ones that put Tapology is when I got started fighting that on Buddha and stuff, but I fought on amateur cage battles, which went on Tapology. So Muay Thai's comes around 13, you know, just, it's been a while, like 2014, 2013, like around then.
Wow.
It's been a while now.
Okay. So
Yeah.
was competing always part of your plan? And who suggested that you should enter competitive competition?
So actually, I knew obviously it's competitive sport, but when I joined first joined my gym, I was doing it, and I thought I'd never be good. So I had much confidence, so I was like, oh, I'll be talking about
That's
this.
okay.
No,
That's okay.
like anything else. But then I started came with my friends, and then they all started quitting, and I just kept going, and I was like, oh, I'm doing all right here. And then I was like, I want to do what they're doing, and then I just kept pushing and pushing. I want to fight. To my coach, and he's like, okay, this summer holidays, obviously school holidays, train every day, come do the morning sessions too, and we'll get you on. And then I did, and they got it, and I won my first fight, and from there I just got hooked, and then I really started looking into it. Like, I can be this, I can be a fighter, I can, that's what I want to do. Because it was just freedom. It felt so good.
You've possibly answered the next question, which was, what do you get out of competing, as you clearly enjoy it and have done since you were only 13? I mean, in your first year alone, and I believe you mentioned it from the outset of the show, you competed in, or managed to squeeze in, 11 interclubs and 6 competitive fights, and then not forgetting the various combat sports fights from Muay Thai, boxing, K1, and all by the age of 19.
It's more, you know what? It's changed over the years, truthfully. Like, a lot of people say the same answer for the same time, but it changes your motive and when I was younger, it was to more prove a point and prove it to myself. I can do this, and it gave me an escape, and that is still present. But as you get older, more and more, motivation come into your life. For me now, it's provided a livelihood. It's provided me a new life in a different country. I've got younger kids I was teaching back home and still following my stuff, and now it's my job to inspire. If they're happy and they get inspired from it, and one of them's going through problems too, and they can look up to that. That's what's important, So I think as you get older, your motives your motivation will change. Yeah. But the main thing is that you're still fighting. That makes sense. So whatever makes you sense. Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. And you've been involved with Team Elite in Southport since day one. First of all, how good have the coaches and teammates there been for your martial arts developments? And how else have they helped you beyond getting you ready for your fights?
Really good. It was like a family. The older fighters really took me in the wing when I first came into the adult classes from the kids class, and I grew with them, and then I started getting bigger, and I could start sparring with them. It was really a gradual process, and when you're in it, you don't look until you look back at it, you don't realize how much the golden days are just all grown up together, looking up to them, and then positions change, and then I start coaching the kids classes, helping with that, and then you're like, oh, I was in that class, and now I'm helping out in it, and now they're looking up to me, and you go, wow, now I'm the adult, and you go, it's a real experience, it was eye-opening, and they put me where I am today, it's crazy when you look back at it. I think the time goes so quick, and until you look back at it, you go, wow, a lot happened there.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gone completely full circle. I mean, I've seen you train with the Gittins Brothers, Liam and Sam, Kevin Ward.
Obviously Coach Kev, he's fought in Glory, multi-time world champion. Yeah. He's been there all my fights, like Andy too. Liam and Sam, Rob, we all trained together. Liam was, I think about when he had his first fight, he was my age now. And obviously I was also having my first fight since 5 years since born. We kind of grew up, fighting. I've seen him from his first fights on, and we were always on the same show. Me being younger, I'd be first fight of the night. I'd be like,
that's right,
main event.
That's right.
Almighty, every cage. I got on cage a lot, I think, because Liam would break down the door, so Liam would be the first one cage raised, and then we'll put JJ on the undercard. So I do it. It was like a partnership. We'd roll up the fights together, cut the weight, and I looked up to him a lot. He had a really good style, and I grew into his weight class. I was originally a 52 kilo, 48 kilo fighter, and then originally moved up to flyweight, and it was a gradual process of kind of walking in the same steps type of thing.
Yeah.